last week's race may have proved cleaner, but it also showed certain pitfalls can catch even the best off guard. With some parts of today's track becoming incredibly narrow, has the danger factor increased? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 3 of the Jetta Rallycross Charity Cup, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is Gary Weaver. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beer. Atlanta Motor Speedway has seen itself grow and evolve into a major national venue. But iRacing saw an opportunity to make it even more fun by adding a rallycross track to the layout. Let's head down to our track guide to learn a little bit more about it. Welcome to Atlanta Motor Speedway. The high speeds of the oval may steal the show for a lot of fans, but for the dirt racing crowd, the two rallycross tracks provide just as many thrills. Both configurations are pretty evenly split between pavement and dirt and include 8 corners. Just like its big brother on the oval, the track is fast. Yet it's the slowest part of the circuit that is probably the most distinctive feature. A more than 180-degree dirt hairpin that has 2 apexes and a whole heap of banking makes for a fun but challenging little corner. It also empties into a long left-hand sweeper that lures drivers into a false sense of security, because at the end of it awaits a steep drop-off that'll suck your car away from the track. While the Joker is a very simplistic shortcut that chops the dirt hairpin out of the lap, it also needs to be remembered that it adds extra speed to the next braking zone. Drivers who get too caught up in the racing can easily forget that and throw away their advantage by blowing the corner. Atlanta's rallycross circuit definitely lives up to the reputation this venue has built for speed and action. Fans and drivers are sure to enjoy this addition to the iRacing service. I actually quite like this rallycross track that they've added. It is pretty fun what they've come up with. But Gary, we might have viewers that saw Atlanta Motor Speedway and, well, they came in expecting something else. So why don't you run them down the details of this circuit?
Yeah, of course, still, at the infield of Atlanta Motor Speedway here with the short configuration of the rallycross circuit that iRacing has made here. Roughly 8 degrees in baking in some corners. Mainly that little hairpin is going to be one to watch out for, as just under 3/4 of a mile at 0.68 miles or 1.09 kilometers. And I've driven this circuit a lot, and it is absolutely fun. The hairpin is an absolute blast, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's one of the more unique features for sure with all that banking and kind of allows you to really enjoy that handbrake feature here on iRacing. Now, why don't we take a glance at the championship, though, real quick? And up at the top of that, Aaron Cortez is now your leader. Even though he has not won a feature race so far this season, he's been doing pretty well overall. 11 points between himself and Gabor Visky. And then exactly the same back to Chuck Johnson there, where he's tied with Tim Brokaw for the third spot, rather. And then it's exactly another 11 points, actually, back to Robert Abrams as well. So everybody being pretty equidistant so far in the championship after 2 rounds. We'll see if that gets broken apart today here at Atlanta. Why don't we also give a little bit of information about the race details as well? Gary, run us down on exactly what they're up against.
Yeah, this month it's going to be the start of the 3rd round of 8 in the VW Jetta TDI Cup. I'm just going to let that sink in for quite a bit. It's not the Rallycross Volkswagen. It is the Volkswagen Jetta. 3 heats for 5 laps, as well as 2 last chance qualifiers or consolation races, also for 5 laps. And of course, that is subject to change depending on how many people do or do not show up. So you never really know. You can never really be surprised. But of course, it's a 10-lap feature with 10 cars maximum.
Thanks for that. In case you're wondering what this championship is fighting for, well, it's not for these drivers themselves, although I'm sure ego has some to do with it, but they're actually getting to choose a charity. So the championship winner gets to choose the charity prize pool money, who it gets donated to, actually. And that will be an important one, obviously, especially in these times for these drivers to be sending off to some good cause or other. Well, actually, I need to check and see who is trying to donate to what? Because I'm not sure that we've talked about that much post-race with the drivers, if they have plans for who they want to donate to. And that could be really awesome to kind of start to promote some of those causes here on the channel. We're waiting for qualifying to start. Should be up in just a moment here, just about less than 4 minutes left. I talked about the narrowness. Right here is one of those parts, including with this jump, as Sean Ferrani takes it right now. It's shockingly tight in some of these portions of this racetrack. So I'm a little bit concerned on how this is going to play out on the first laps.
Yeah, if we can just keep this, actually, this is a really good way to go through the entire course. This hairpin here, and the Volkswagen Beetle, the Rallycross one, you can easily, snap the handbrake and just immediately go power through across the top side and not hit the wall if you're lucky enough, but it is pretty challenging, and that's for sure. And I haven't driven this course in the Volkswagen Jetta, but like you mentioned, it is narrow at times, like that second section there, which is just the S's that we had, but right there, that's something that's gonna, that outside wall is just gonna come right flying right at you, especially if you hit one of those curbs. That's something to really keep in mind. But this section, I don't think we'll be seeing anything side by side unless somebody's really daring.
Yeah, he definitely caught that inside curb. Gustavo able to keep it going, though. And there's the Joker lap that you can see that cuts out the hairpin as well. Brazilian really swinging it into that hairpin, trying to get the most out of it. So far, Visky is our fastest driver in the warm-up, but that won't be as important as once they get to that qualifying. Gabor certainly looking like he's doing quite well. Winner from the first round, Samagi. Excuse me, no, I believe he was in the winner in the second round. Pardon me. Number 32 is actually second quickest currently out there circulating, taking that long left-hand sweeper. Bit of a blind corner, that one. And then it gets tight here where it cuts off for the short version and takes you back to start another lap across the jump and the start-finish line. Bit of a small field currently, so we might, as you mentioned, Gary, have a bit of a quick run-through on the heats here.
I don't think it's even heat. I think it's just going to be heat at this rate. We'll see in about 2 minutes or so. But oh man, every time, even just in no matter which of these cars that you take to the Rallycross course, those sausage curbs or turtles or whatever you want to call them, those are absolutely brutal, and I dislike them just from running over them. So it gives a little bit of a scare, especially if you're doing either a qualifying lap that you really don't want to mess up, or even just running as close as you can to somebody else side by side. You may not expect them. You follow somebody through and you hit them as well. So it's a lot to think about, really, to be quite honest. So those curbs are going to be something to really watch out for. These things are really prone to flipping over as well. That some people have unfortunately demonstrated throughout the season. And unfortunately, Chris Sewell, a little bit earlier on in the session, he hit the sausage curb in the second to last corner and unfortunately flipped over the Armco guardrail in this section of the track, actually, right here. So hopefully we don't see that today.
Yeah, I had not seen that before. So yeah, well, I hope we keep everybody at least within the confines of the barriers. Tim Brokaw, who we're watching, taking it through one of the faster portions, weaving it through those S's, and then you slam on the brakes for something of a hairpin, I suppose you could call it. Looks like he's going to take it through the actual hairpin, the dirt banked hairpin. The thing that I also find tricky about this thing is the fact that it's got those two apexes. It almost like juts out at that second part. I know in my time driving it, there's a couple times that I slammed that inside wall when I got too greedy.
Yeah, it takes a lot of really just trying to figure out, okay, how wide is the car? Do I actually have space to do this? And hope that you have a car that is actually built for this. So that's really the only thing I can kind of relate to. But I've had my fair share of getting a little bit too close with that inside wall.
All right, checkered flag is out for the warm-up, so let's get started on the qualifying portion of our race today. Looks like we've got everybody getting ready to head out here, as this is a fixed setup, so nobody really should need to take the time to plop a setup on the car, and hopefully we'll get some people out. Now they're starting to move. Visky, one of those on his way. We were kind of debating whether or not the drivers would even be able to get air over the jumps there. And you can see they get a little bit. There's just not much room for these little VW Jettas to get the speed up. And, well, let's be honest, they're not super powerful. So it's not like you see with like the Pro 2 Lite where it can just gun it and go. Visky out coming through the hairpin. Now, remember, he's already started a lap because that starting timing line is after the jump. So even though he's only just now going by where the cars will start the races from, the heats and the feature from, what he needs to pay attention to here is after this, as he comes through, the number 5, going to be the first to set a time, bouncing it onto that landing. For him, it's a 44.2 to set the first marker. That was where he takes the timing line where they will finish the race. Brokaw's across. Oh, Samogi. Looks like he's gone quickest. Still waiting for Sean Ferrani, who's been a fast driver. Looks like he had an off track or something somewhere because that one did not count for him. So he's going to get 2 more laps to try. They get 3 laps here in qualifying.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little bit difficult to tell, but Sean Ferrani did actually get the wall just out of this corner right here that Visky goes, so a little bit too wide. So it's just a little bit of bad luck, really, especially with coming just right to the line, right at the last second. And
Visky
Gabor
back
Albert
up to the
Visky,
lead.
yeah.
43.7 for him. Veldman's second lap isn't quick enough, but Samogi is. Mark has gotten it up to the top by about 0.2 of a second, a decent gap for such a short lap.
We'll see. So far, I'm just keeping an eye on on the intervals between these drivers. 0.2 to 0.7 to 8 to a second. So wildly varying so far.
Gabor backing around, going to take his last flying lap. Again, 2.5 tenths nearly that he's got to make up to take the pole back. A 43.9 or 43.4 rather is actually going to do it. So Samagi gets put down. He crosses the line, a 43.3, and he's going to take the pole right back away from him.
And by a larger gap as well, just over pretty much 1/10 of a second more, say for a couple thousandths of a second. Christian Berg continuing their final lap. I believe this is going to be the final lap for the number 48. So we'll see what this number 48 has in store under the hood. Hopefully a little bit enough to improve. Currently, the close call there to the inside of that wall. Maybe clipped it. Yeah, clipped it.
Yeah, that's going to discount that lap. Sean Ferrani, by the way, put himself into third that time through. Brokaw's finished it. Really, the only driver left to complete qualifying is going to be Berg. Let's see if maybe he didn't actually clip it and he's going to get this one to count. He's sitting in 6th, and his quickest is a 44.4. Yes, that one unfortunately was discounted. You can't use those walls because they don't want drivers bouncing off of them to get a little bit of speed unfairly. That is everybody. So your order for today, and this is also going to be changed by the heats, so don't forget this is not the starting order. Mark Samogi took the pole. Visky starts in 2nd with Sean Ferrani in P3. Then you got Veldman in 4th. Tim Brokaw, P4 for him. Christian Berg, 6. Aaron Cortez, our championship leader, all the way down in 7th place. And Chris Sewell will be starting in 8th today, just as we wait for the last 30 seconds of the qualifying to finish up. Everybody out there probably just simply doing some warm-up from here on out. They're not punished for taking extra laps. In fact, I see some of them taking practice joker laps here just to make sure they get some time in there, because that does change that braking down into the last 2 corners.
That speed difference is definitely something to keep an eye on with that joker lap.
All right, we've got, looks like 1 heat. You were right. And then I think we might go right to the feature. It looks like the order will start exactly as they qualified. So no change there from what we listed before. All 8 drivers will take part in this race. There's your starting grid on screen, and all 8 drivers are already out there. Everybody will make it to the feature today. This will essentially set their starting order. The engines start to rev, the lights are up, green flag is out, and off the line. A few drivers in the back were much stronger. John Ferrani was awful. A little bit of contact there, and one car turned around. That's Cortez getting into Tim Brokaw, unfortunately turning him completely around.
I don't know if Chris Sewell had actually jumped the start or not. He did move a little bit right off the main start, but so far so good. But we'll see you at the end with the time penalty if it is given to Sewell. But they're going to make their way through the opening SS section. Sean Ferrani goes wide, just hangs on to it.
Having a horrible start here. He was up in third. 3 cars take to the Joker, 5 cars take to the Joker, and 1 does not. 2 do not. It looks like Sean Ferrani and Berg stay out. Up at the front right now, it is Visky leading. Samogi giving chase in third, very close behind. Aaron Cortez almost looked like he may have gotten close to the wall there off the jump.
Right now, Cortez tries to look to the inside. It's not going to work. Just tags Samogi. Samogi tries to defend. It's not going to work. So it looks like these drivers are doing an inverted Joker rule, so it's going to be a little bit of a swap, really. So the actual portion of the track that the drivers are going on for qualifying is going to be acting as the Joker. The Joker lap is going to act as the actual track.
Exactly. So for those that don't understand, they take the Joker lap as for the entire race except for a single lap, where the regular lap now becomes the Joker. So through there once again, Visky still hasn't taken his inverted Joker, and he's still leading Samogi. They've currently left third place behind, as I believe they have now taken that. I'm trying to figure out who that was that left it before. John Ferrani's also taken his inverted Joker. He's currently down in 6th. Wonder if he could make some time up since he's got some clear space riding on board with Samogi right now. Both of them going to continue on, cutting off the hairpin.
On this one, they would have to take it this final lap. This is going to be the last lap. They would have to take the inverted Joker at this point, and this would more than likely give it to Tim Brokaw, depending on if he's taken it or not.
And I'm looking through. Looks like Tim has not taken his lap either. So these top 3 all need to duck off for the hairpin for the longer lap. How is this going to change the finishing order for those behind them? And they're not electing to. They are staying on the Joker. So I'm not sure if they're going to be penalized by the stewards after the race. Very curious here. Visky's going to cross the line first as he comes over the jump. Samogi in second, and third going to be Brokaw. Behind them, Cortez takes the 4th place. Veldman looks like he's going to take 5th. Sean Ferrani, boy, a miserable race for him. Hopefully he can bounce back from that in the feature. He'll be 6th place. Sewell 7th, and Christian Berg, unfortunately, must have had some damage that took him out as he did not finish today.
Visky and Samogi finishing 1 and 2. They automatically advance to the feature, and so is everyone else because it's going straight to the warm-up.
Indeed. So we'll have some time to try and dissect what we just saw. I think Sean Ferrani really is the one to watch this race, because we've seen Gustavo, well, he's fast, and we keep talking about that, Gary, but we've also seen that Gustavo generally seems to have trouble staying out of trouble. So I wonder if this is a bad sign for him, that he's got to try and overtake a bunch of cars, because that certainly doesn't decrease the danger for him.
And definitely doesn't decrease, especially with just how, I guess, unique this is, really. So how this is being handled by the RSM service. I'm just double checking this right now. Looks like it's going to be an available 9 Joker laps available to the drivers. So that means they will have to take the outer line in the feature. So I think it's only the feature where they had to take the outer Joker lap. So maybe just a little bit of confusion there, maybe a misnumber or something. But miscommunication. But regardless, it's going to be a guaranteed, essentially, inverted Joker lap, and then everyone else goes the more narrow route, essentially.
Yeah, so it looks like iRacing will be able to track it on this one. Yeah, I would like to know what exactly will happen with those drivers who didn't need to take it, if that was planned or not. Oh, someone there in front of one of our drivers, that was Sewell having trouble across that Joker. This was probably one of the most simple of Joker laps that they've got compared to some of the tracks with it just being that straight shot through. Gustavo continuing on his way here in the warm-up, still waiting for some laps, some timed laps to come down. Other than our focus on Sean Ferrani, Visky had the legs over on Samogi this time, which he hasn't come out here in the warm-up yet, interestingly. Looks like they've advanced the session, so we don't have to wait for the whole thing. So as they now make their way to the grid, here is your starting order. Visky up at the front once again, Samogi in second, Tim Brokaw now starting from third position. And then rounding out the first half, Gary, it is Aaron Cortez in fourth.
Starting in fifth, it's going to be Alexander Veldman. Gustavo Cianfrani starts off in sixth. Seventh place is going to be Chris Sewell, and eighth is Kristen Berg.
Waiting for Samagi to get out there, and he is going to take to the grid. So despite him not being out there, as the engines now start to rev, they're all gridded up. The lights are on. Green flag is out here for the feature. Ooh, and look at this, almost looking at 4 wide potentially. No, it's going to be 3 wide into the first corner. This might not be a good sign, but up at the front, I think Visky's managed to hold on to it. Only just coming around the outside with better steam on the dirt. It looks like Cortez has the momentum. And then here comes Samagi as well.
No, Visky gets tagged. Yep, saved it. No. Oh, this is going to be a very long save if they can. Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
They did. Great save by Samagi.
And look who capitalized on it. Gustavo Cianfrani up to second place. He's going to take the Joker lap this time through. Behind them, you can see 4 of the drivers, half of the field, has gone through the hairpin. Cortez is still leading. He still needs to take his regular lap. Side by side behind him. That's for second place, Cianfrani and Veldman. Veldman backs out of it as they head into the S's.
So pretty much your top 4 have yet to take the inverted Joker for the time being, and Veldman is going to go and take that inverted Joker, so now it's going to be your top 3. Chris Sewell, Cianfrani, and Aaron Cortez that have yet to take their inverted Joker, and Sewell just hanging on to it on the corner exit of the dirt section.
We've got a big group coming together back from 4th on back. That's Samagi in there, as well as Brokaw, Veldman, who you just mentioned, going through the hairpin. They're being led by Visky. Visky is done with his regular lap. Should be all Jokers from here on out. So where is that going to put him in position with our top 3? Who look like, they all still need to take the regular lap.
And they'd have to at that point, or else they will get penalized by iRacing with a time penalty for taking the Joker. So we'll see how that is yet to go. But your top 3 pretty much spread out as we're taking a look at 4th, 5th, and pretty much the entire back half of the field, where they are not so much spread out.
It's still being led by Visky, being chased by Samagi. Will this be for the victory? They lost track position, remember, at the start. Made lots of contact with one another, but able to keep going. So we really don't know where they are positioned currently. Same thing with Brokaw having already taken his extra lap. We ride on board with Mark and see how much sawing at the wheel. That was way too much curve to the inside for Visky. Oh, and we got a wreck behind them, Veldman and Berg.
Ooh.
I think Veldman got turned around from too much curve himself. In fact, this is a violent impact.
Oh, it's both taking the... Yeah, 3 drivers took the curb way too much, unfortunately.
Because of that, Veldman is now a lap down. Visky now up to
Chris Sewell
third.
was on his side on the jump. He's forced to take a tow. He took the curb too much.
As on screen, we see the battle for what is now third place. A little bit of a look wide there from Samogi.
Now Cianfrani's in the
quite
wall
do
as
anything
well.
with. He had more, yeah, and he's facing the wrong way, actually. There you saw him there at the side of the road as they went by. He's going to also have to take a tow. Boy, this one is catching a lot of drivers out. Not going to be able to get the replay as into the wall in the background. That was Tim Brokaw bouncing into the concrete off the jump.
Well, at this point, it's only Aaron Cortez who has yet to take the Joker lap, as while the top two are pretty much out at this point, unfortunately. Both Sewell and Cianfrani. So at that point, it's just Cortez that has yet to take the Joker lap.
We also don't have Chuck Johnson here today, we should point out. So our third place driver in the points going to lose a little bit here. Brokaw might not be sitting too bad. He's down to fourth, but we don't know where Cortez is going to be getting out. Once again, banging into the wall. That was Tim Brokaw just going way too wide off the leap.
To be 2 laps to go for Aaron Cortez, and if I know Rallycross just strategy in general, he's going to be taking that corner, taking that invert Joker right on the final lap, and I would not be surprised. But race for second, though, still on between Samogi and Visky. Samogi just tailing Visky, getting a little bit too much on the curb for both, but they managed to keep going forward as Cortez continues to go straight through, and this is going to be, he'll have to take the invert Joker at this point.
You're right. And he's got Christian Berg in front of him. I'm not sure if he's going to actually catch him. So hopefully this lap traffic won't hold him up. Really, the battle between Visky, Samogi, and Brokaw is incredibly tight for what currently is second place, but we don't know if this is for the lead. Look at them, all three in a line. Cortez is taking the extra lap now. I think he's way too far ahead, though.
Yeah, I think he's got it at this point. He's going to come around the final few corners for the win. We'll see how this goes.
Brokaw did get past Samogi. You saw it on screen. Meanwhile, our leader, Cortez, is going to be schooling everybody in the feature. Not only does he have the championship lead, but he's finally going to break his duck for a feature win. Aaron Cortez, victory today in Atlanta.
Second place, third place rather. It's going to be Samogi trying for the last second and third. It's not going to work out, but Visky is going to come across second. Brokaw third, and fourth comes Samogi.
Ooh, Visky almost lost that second place. He was slow, and Brokaw was trying to outrun him. Berg going to get a top 5 behind them. Last car to finish, might not even finish. I think poor Veldman has hit more of the wall, and he's going to get it running at least. Chris Sewell, no, Chris Sewell actually got it back out there as well, so he's also on his way. So all 8 cars will finish the feature today. What a wild ride that was. Let's take a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews. Stick around because we'll have all the upcoming races here on GSRC on your screen. Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Round 3 in the Jetta Rallycross Charity Cup was a fun one out there with the unique rules they implemented today. But in the end, it was Aaron Cortez getting his first victory. And it was Gabor Albert Visky who started on the pole after winning the heat race, only to find himself tangling up with his rival at the second lap there, Samogi, and winding up farther down the order than he probably would have liked. Tim Brokaw snuck into third for a podium, and then Mark rounds out the first half of your field. Gary?
Finishing off the second half of the field, it's going to be Kristen Berg, Alexander Veldman, the last two finishing on the lead lap. Veldman getting involved in a couple incidences, just manages to bring it home, as well as Gustavo Cianferrani coming across 2 laps down, and Chris Sewell coming across in 3 laps down in 8th.
In fact, we've got Gustavo here to talk to us. Unfortunately, not the day he was looking for, winding up 7th in the feature. Gustavo, it looked like both races you couldn't keep away from the trouble today.
Yeah, first race. First of all, good evening, guys. First race, I think it was a problem of communication because I did a joker lap. I think some drivers did any joker, so I got a disadvantage. But no problem. I had a good start and was up to second with the crash in front of me. After that, I when I had a lap car, I should have take the joker, but instead I followed the leader, and then I lost the car on the braking, and I felt in a hole that I never been there before, even in practice. Couldn't reverse, had to tow, and lost 2 laps. Could be second, I think, because of the difference in the end, but let's go to next race.
And of course, throughout this race, I'm going to jump in here and just ask a question. How did the inverted Joker format kind of throw you off a little bit? Did it even actually throw you off, or did you appreciate it a little bit more, especially since, with this short configuration, it does have the hairpin?
Yeah, it's difficult to traction this car in the dirt, but I think I don't know. I play with the rules, no problem. But I think that the other with the Joker, normal Joker, it's a little bit technical and favors the driver.
Next week, we're going to a track with some very, very tight turns at Lucas Oil. Do you have any concerns going over there? Do you think the Jetta can handle that okay?
I need to look at. Don't know by the course. I have driven, but I don't remember it. I need to practice to feel it.
All right. Well, I hope that practice goes well. Thanks for coming and talking to us, Gustavo. Commiserations that today didn't wind up better for you.
Okay, no problem.
Gustavo Cianferrani, 7th in the end of the feature race today. And noticing the same thing we did and confused about the lack of joker laps for some of the drivers in the heat. We'll try and update you next round when we get more information about that. But that's going to wrap up our broadcast here today. We've got more coming later that we'll talk about, but we want to thank the organizers of the Jetta Rallycross Charity Cup for coming to us to broadcast their series, but also a thank you goes to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcast listed here on your screen. Additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get hold of more of her great work. And thanks to the team today, Gary, Sean, and Dougie. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. Also, check out our social media. Our Twitter is @GSR Channel, Facebook is Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram is GSRC_Graham. If you'd like to support us, check out our merchandise store at gsrc.storenvy.com, where we've got a link in the description below if you don't want to have to type that out. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're down there by clicking the big red button that says subscribe. Next race, as we mentioned, heading off to Indiana for Lucas Oil Raceway. The Rallycross layout, of course. That'll be Saturday, May 9th at 4:45 p.m. Eastern. And then a little bit later tonight, don't forget to check out the Bootleg Racing League. It's the Grand National Series. And that'll be in just a few hours' time. It should be fun stuff. We also have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.